Hello. So, we're gonna try our hands at tuning. Now, bear with me because I'm using a different program to record, and everything's brand new. And as you can see, this is quite different from my normal videos. So, bear with me. Shut up. Um, First of all, you're gonna need some programs. What I do, my setup, I have two screens connected to a PC. So normally, this window would be on another screen. The Andy window would be on another screen, and the game would be on my main screen. But as I have to show you this, I have done this. Now, you're already saying, well, what the fuck's Andy? Well, Andy is, let me just pull this up. It's an Android emulator. Now, what the fuck do I want an Android emulator for? I'm playing Forza. Well, because once upon a time, long ago, I found a program called Forza Tune. And it's actually a pretty good program to get you started on tuning. Now, it does cost a bit of money, but yeah, everything does. I think I paid something around 30 Danish kroner. That would be, I don't know, 4, 5 American sticks, or roughly 3 and a half British pounds, something like that. So it's not terribly expensive, and it does get updated pretty fast after the updates we get. If there are any new cars added for a series, this guy will add the cars to the program shortly after the update. Normally. Sometimes not so quick. But yeah, I guess he has a life too. So what I did was download this Android emulator, install that, and it's basically a phone. Where you have the Play Store and etc. You can do whatever you want. And you install Forza Tune. And this is the layout. And you can actually, he added some stuff about other people who has Forza Tune. You can share tunes back and forth, etc., etc. So that's pretty good. And almost every car in the game is here, or an equivalent. Some of the PO cars are different in the game, but you use the normal car, so to speak, as a platform. This was what I used when I first got going, because it'll give you a pretty good baseline. It's not, you know, the Rosetta Stone. It'll not make a perfect tune every time, far from it, but it'll get you started, and it'll give you an idea on the different settings, etc., etc., etc. Also, he has something called Racing School that I never ever used. Apparently, you can watch small videos and learn how to drive. Yeah. But I've bought a brand new BMW that we're gonna tune. Now, I should probably throw this up in full screen. Makes it easier to watch. Now, first of all, you want to figure out, what do I need the car for? Do you plan on going drag racing with it? Then I would probably suggest something other than the BMW 1 Series. I know this car, to be honest. I've tuned it plenty of times, and I know it's a great A800 car. But it'll also tune all the way up to 900 plus. Um, yeah. But let's pretend, I don't know. Let's say you want an A800 road racer. Well, first you gotta figure out, what do I want in my car? Now there are plenty of let's call them pits of despair when tuning, because you would think something like adding a turbo, you need that, definitely need that. Well, maybe not, because if you look at the weight, 1506 kilograms, 1495, and actually sometimes, actually most times, if you're tuning for A800, you wanna maybe skip the turbos, because they add a lot of weight. Sure, they add power, but they're very costly in the PI number. PI numbers, I should explain, are the numbers that define how powerful, fast, yeah, good your car is. Well, not good, because you can tune a very high PI number and the car is completely rubbish to drive. It's basically strength. Now, something like a turbo takes an awful lot of PI compared to the output. Same does tires. Tires are stupid. I mean, if I go from a stock tire to a sport tire, you can see I went up 14 PI and another 30 to go for the race tire. And it's not always necessary to put on race tires. Far from it, actually. But yeah, it's in A800 class, I'd say sport tire is minimum. If you go beyond that, I probably use a race tire, because it does get quite funky to control otherwise. Another thing, the car is, of course, like, well, thinking, pretty much 95% of all the BMW range, it's a rear-wheel drive car. So first thing we want to do is add all-wheel drive, because rear-wheel drive in Forza is, yeah, stupid. It's pretty impossible to control, especially if you, like I do, have a keyboard as a controller or any form of digital controller. And by digital, I mean you press a button and that's full acceleration. Whereas if you got a steering wheel and pedals, you can, feather the throttle, and yeah. So all-wheel drive, that's a must. Now we can also swap engines, and engine swapping is sometimes a good idea, and sometimes it's a really, 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 really bad idea. In this case, this one adds 50 kilograms, but it also adds 59 kilowatts. Why is it that I can't have, kilograms, newton meters for torque, bar for air pressure, and horsepower as power? We use horsepower here in the Western world. Kilowatts is stupid, but you have to sort of multiply by 0.7, I think it is. Anyway, the 4.0 liter V8 adds 59 kilowatts, but it also adds 50 kilograms. Now, I know this engine, and it's a very, very good engine. Yeah, this one, no, we don't want the big V8. Very much no. Not for an A800. Not in my opinion. But like I said, we're doing A800 road race car, right? I kind of like this one, the stock engine, because it's got a lot of torque. But it's kind of, yeah, nyeh, meh. So let's stick with that for now. And we got the all-wheel drive. We're gonna skip the turbos for now. Wings and such. Yeah, the front wing for an A800 is not needed. It takes, I mean, you can add this one, which apparently makes the car go faster. But it also adds, well, 1 kilogram. It's not a lot, but still. And then you have the adjustable one, which you see the PI number shoots up. So, no front wing. Rear wing, yes, on A800 you can add it. On B700 and C600, it's most of the time gonna cause way more drag than it's good for. I mean, you're gonna get a slower top speed, slower acceleration, but you do get some rear wheel or rear end grip, which can be nice, but it can also be a hindrance. That's sort of what I normally do if I want to really test a car is I build all the tunes I can think of. Meaning at the end I'm gonna have anywhere from 5 to 15 different tunes. And then I'm gonna test them all. I'm gonna select 3, let's say I'm doing a rally car. I'm gonna select 3 rally tracks. I'm gonna drive all 3 with each tune twice. And then I'll have an average, both lap time and total race time, on each tune. And I can compare. Also, of course, I make mental notes while driving on, well, was that handling good? Was it not? Etc., etc. And I do small tweaks to the tunes as well. Yeah. So, rear wing added. And then we can add a bumper. It adds 1 PI, it adds 1 kilogram, and it makes it go 0.7 seconds kilometers an hour faster at top speed. So, no. Tires, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use the sport tire compound. Now, front tires. Well, sometimes it's a very good thing, and sometimes it's not. In this case, I'm gonna go with the middle option. 265 is actually a pretty wide tire. If you don't know what the numbers mean, basically what it means is the first number, 265, means that the tire is 265 millimeters wide. That's 26.5 centimeters wide. Now, the 30 means that the side of the tire is 30% of the width of the tire. Okay, so 30% of 26.5 is roughly 9 centimeters, something like that. And then you have an R, that basically just means it's a radial tire, and that's to do with the buildup of the tire, the insides of the tire. And then you have 19, which is of course the rim size. So let's select that. Rear wheel, you want to go full width, pretty much always, because it'll add or lower your PI value, presumably because of weight or something, I would guess. But it'll give you rear end grip, and that's a very nice thing to have. Plus, even if the car is all-wheel drive, or four-wheel drive in this case, most of the power is going to be sent to the rear wheels. And, well, the wider the tire, the more grip you have on the back end, the more power you can put down to the road. So, kind of a no-brainer. Rims, don't touch those for now. Then you can widen the axles. And this is a good thing. We want that. So, that was tires. Now we get to transmission or drivetrain. You want this, and we want this as well, because even though it's going to lower your acceleration and launch, which I never quite understood why, because this allows you to fully tune the transmission. And we want to add this because we want to lower the weight, and we got the PI numbers to back it up. The differential, you definitely want that because it doesn't add any PI, and it allows you to tune the differential, meaning it'll allow you to tune how much power you want going to the front wheels, how much power you want going to the rear wheels, etc., etc. So we definitely want that. So far, so good. Brakes, you definitely want those, especially on an A800. On some of the lower PI cars, it's not that critical. Suspension. Yeah, we want to go race suspension because it allows you to, as it says on the screen, unlock spring, damper, and alignment tuning. And we definitely want that. We definitely want this, and we definitely want this. So far, so good. Now, weight. Now we're at 1508 kilograms. That's pretty much actually for a relatively small car. And, well, we can go as far as 1239, but that doesn't leave much to tune the car with. So we're gonna go with this option. And you'll find that it can dramatically change how the car behaves. What's the final one? See, that's 143 kilograms. That's, well, close to 2 grown-up adults. If you look at the numbers in here. Now, bear in mind, these numbers are, well, how do I put this? Completely fucking random and has absolutely no bearing on how the car behaves. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But I still find myself using it as a guideline when I'm at this stage of the tuning. But as you can see, right now it's 9.880 seconds and 274. Now it's 9 seconds and 274. So that dropped it a second in acceleration from 0 to, well, that'll be 100 miles per hour or 161 kilometers an hour. Now that's not a disaster, because how many times during a race do you find yourself accelerating from 0 to 100 miles per hour? Once. Well, unless you completely screw up the race, but in a normal race, once. Most of your acceleration is going to be from around, let's say 60, 70, 80 miles per hour and up. You're hardly ever going to be going from a complete standstill to 100 miles per hour. And that's, well, I call it mid-range acceleration, because it's sort of, you're at 70 miles per hour or 120 kilometers an hour or something like that, and you're accelerating in third gear. There's no telemetry for that. All you got is race times, pretty much. But yeah, let's go with full lightness. So now we're at 796. It doesn't leave a whole lot to tune the engine, and that's okay. And as you can see, it's got turbos on it stock. I kind of forgot about that. This is a very good idea. It will help your acceleration quite a bit. According to this, it's a tenth of a second. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced by that. So let's do that. Now we have 2 PIs left. That's not a lot. Now you can go for more power. And yeah, maybe we should, if we can. Now, mind you, these two are excellent. They'll give you some power for sure, but they also add weight. Now in this case it's not a lot, so we're gonna do it. Now you have an A800 car, more or less. So now we need to tune it. Now, to do this best, we are gonna go in here, and I am just gonna take it off full screen. So, can I expand this without it going completely nuts? Yeah, I think so. Now if we put the game over there, put this over here. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Sometimes Forza doesn't like when you got other things going on. So when you show up back and forth, it's gonna, disappear. Anyway, first of all, you want to find the car. Now it's a 2011 BMW 1 Series M Coupe. So, new tune, and we put in 2011 BMW, and there it is. Now we have a weight of 1242 kilograms, 1242. Front weight of 53%. Performance index is 800. It's an all-wheel drive. We're tuning it for street racing. And yeah, standard is fine. Include gearing tune, yes please. And then we have maximum torque is 459. RPM for maximum torque. Now, RPM for maximum torque is basically these two lines. You got a torque and a power. It's the green one we want. And, well, it's got maximum torque at, like, nothing. What's that, 1500 RPM? And that's just stupid. So we're going to go with something like, you see, we've got 5,000 RPM here. So 4, 3, 2. So it's going to be 1, 2, let's say about 3,500 RPM. So we put that in, 3.5. Oh well. And we know it has turbos, so it's forced induction. Like it says, select if the vehicle has a turbo or a supercharger. Forced induction is a mechanical way of forcing more fuel and air into the engine, giving you more horsepower, making the car go faster, basically, if you didn't know. Number of gears, let's leave that at 6 for now. Drive tire size. Now, drive tire means the tire that provides the power to the road. Now, on an all-wheel drive car, that's kind of stupid because they all four do. So what do I do? Well, use the rear wheel, because the rear wheel will be supplying the most power. So, and we swap to the performance times. So, put in the tire size 315, 30, 19. 0 to 160 kilometers an hour is 8.858. Top speed is listed at 276.3. So now we only have one number missing. That's the red line RPM. Now to get that, let me just put this up on big screen again. To get that, you need to get outside of the house. So we buy our setup. And we check how many gears does it actually have. It has 6, so all is well with the world. And then we go to the outside world. Now, as you can see on the speedometer in the lower right, the red line starts at 7,200. So we go over to Forza Tune, 7,200. And next, and it'll give you a bunch of numbers. Like I said, this is not the Rosetta Stone. This will not make it the fastest car in the world by far, but it'll give you an idea of where to go. So we have a tire pressure of 1.91. We're going to round that down to 1.9, 1.9, and then gearing. Gearing, you have 2.85. It says 2.85 and 4.58. 2.88, 2.1, 1.65, 1.36, 1.16. So this is the optimal gearbox setting for your car. Calculated. It's not always true, but calculated. Then we get to alignment. And you have camber and camber, toe, and caster. Oh my god. There have been written books thicker than the Bible about this. Basically, let's see, toe is when if you imagine yourself looking down on the four wheels from up in the sky. Toe is the angle of the tires left right, so you can have your rear wheel tires going in each direction that's out, or point in towards the car that's in. Now you want to leave those two for a race car. For a drift car, you want to screw around with these. Camber is the angle if you imagine yourself looking from the rear of the car towards the front. Camber is the angle at which the top of the tire leans in towards the car. Now you want a little bit of that. In this case, -2 degrees on the front and -1.2 at the rear. That's pretty high for the front, actually. But I'll show you something about that later. And then 0, 0, and you want your caster at 5.2. Anti-roll bar. Now, anti-roll bar is a bar that there's a front and a rear, and it goes from the suspension on the right side to the suspension on the left side. It's basically a torsion bar, meaning that if a lot of pressure is being forced on the bar, say you're in a corner, a left-hand corner, your right front wheel is being pushed up very hard because you're leaning on that side and you're probably braking at the same time. That will force the left front wheel down towards the road and actually gives you some grip. That's a very, very short explanation on how it works. So we want, what, 29.8 at the front. Now, I don't know why, but on a PC, they're set at something like 36.21. And to reset them, I have to go all the way over there and then pull it back up. Then we get the last number is a 0. 29 point, what was it? 29.8. And 25.2. Now, I know from experience that I'll need to mess with this later, but never mind, let's keep it there. Springs, let's see, springs, you want front springs at 134.4 and rear springs at 29.9. Now the reason that you want a higher setting at the front than at the rear is because, well, the engine is at the front. The engine is heavy. So you want a higher setting on the front springs to keep the car level. Basically, you're asking the front springs to, or adjust the front springs so that the balance of the car is, well, it's gonna, a front engine car is gonna be way more heavy at the front than at the rear. So you want a heavy suspension setting at the front to balance out the car, so that you pretty much get the exact same amount of weight on each tire. Did that make sense? I hope it made sense. Anyway, ride height. Now ride height is in set increments. You can't change that. And it's going to say 4 clicks above minimum. So, let's give it 4 clicks. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see there's a slight difference. The ride height is higher at the rear than at the front. This is a good thing, but not too much. In this case, it's 0.6 of 0.6 centimeters, which is 6 millimeters, nothing. Damping. Damping, rebound, and bump stiffness is to do with if you drive on the road and you hit a rock or something, and it'll push up the tire. You want it to absorb that. Now, these settings are related to how soft do you want it. If you get it too soft, it's going to be wobbly. If you get it too hard, it's just going to go airborne if you hit a rock. You want something kind of in the middle for that. Forza Tune says rebound of 11. So we're going to give it a rebound of 11 and 10.7 and 7.5. 6.8. There we go. Aero, well, we can't adjust the front wing because we didn't put an adjustable one on, which is fine. Rear wing, don't change it because it's gonna screw up everything. Now then we have braking. Now, everything in every fiber of my being, because, well, I've worked as a mechanic. I've been, let's call it, tinkering with cars since I was like 12 years old. So that's, you carry the 1, multiply by 15, divided by a lot of years, actually. Damn, I'm old. Anyway, everything is telling me, no, what are you doing? Because basically what Forza Tune is saying, you need to put the braking balance towards the rear. Now, in any modern car, you're gonna have something like, I don't know, 55-45 towards the front. However, there's a bug in this game. Yeah, it's true. I know, I was just surprised at you. I mean, oh my god, a bug in Forza Horizon? Really? And, yeah, whatever. This works. Trust Forza Tune on this. Braking force, you want to keep that for this car. Differential. Now, differential is, yeah, how much power you want going to the front and rear wheels under acceleration and deacceleration. And, well, I don't want any power going to the wheels when I'm deaccelerating or braking. Yes, you do, because the engine helps you brake. So, Forza Tune says 40, 10, what is 60, 30. Now, and this is the big one. This is the balance. Now, if I set this to 50%, it's going to try to send 50% to front and rear. Now, we don't want that. We want 65% towards the rear. Aha. And that's it, really. Now you have a tune. Or you have the baseline for a tune. Now, what you want to do is take it for a spin. Now, we can do this here. Take it for a spin. Our accelerate's good. Doesn't feel like any of the wheels are falling off. Nope. It understeers. And in case you don't know what understeer and oversteer is, oversteer is when you go into a corner and the back end comes flying around and tries to do the corner faster than you're doing. Understeer is when you go into a corner and you turn left and the car just keeps going straight. Now, some people like understeer, I'm told. I have no idea why. I like a tiny, tiny bit of oversteer. Because I like to, when the car's on the limit, that the back end just begins to slide a little bit, telling me, better watch out, don't overdo it, or I'm gonna kill you. But how do you get that tiny bit of oversteer? Well, there are several ways. One of the ways that I like to do is the anti-roll bars. Now, giving the rear anti-roll bar a little bit more, something like that, will make the rear end of the car a little bit more aggressive. Oh, gee, the understeer is going away. Now it's starting to oversteer a little bit. Still does. So, we want to test this. Now, there are several ways to test this. I mean, you can use any of the tracks available to you, but I would suggest that keep in mind what you're tuning the car for. I mean, is it going to be a high-speed highway racer? And you may want to test it on the highway. Is it going to be, Ambleside Village, twisty, crappy road kind of car? Then you might want to test it there. And so on and so forth. I've actually made a track that starts here. And I'm not sure I have a blueprint ready for this kind of car, but I can make one. Yes. Let's just do it like that. Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you want to limit your blueprints to, let's say, A800, then you can't do it while you are not in a Horizon live session. And this is, allow me to rant here for a minute. This is idiotic. It's stupid. It's really retarded. Ronnie had an idea at a meeting somewhere, and some idiot forgot to check his notes, and somehow it got into the game. Because I'm online, and I can prove it. Let's see, tune car, load. I can load other people's tunes. So why do I have to connect to a Horizon live session? I'm already online. Why do I have to be more online? Idiot. Happy place. So anyway, while we wait for that. Oh, it was quick today. So once you're in a Horizon live session, eventually, maybe. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Now you get another option. Create blueprint, yada yada, yep. And we want anything goes. Because now you get this option suddenly, where you can actually set the PI that you want. Excuse me. So we're going to select A800, and we're going to select a different route because, well, this is custom blueprint. Custom. And I have this track. And it may not look like much, but if you really look at it, you'll find that it's got long straights for top speed. It's got very twisty corners here and there. It's got a lot of mid-range acceleration, and it's got a lot of hard braking. It's got high-speed corners. It's got pretty much everything. So this is my test track. Yay! Event settings. Well, it's definitely road racing, and you want 2 laps. Now, why do you want that? Well, the first lap doesn't give you a clear picture on the speed of the car, because you don't get that lap, the flying lap, where you blast past the start-finish line and get the first corner again at top speed rather than medium speed. Summer is best. It just is. Overcast, fixed, yeah. Confirm. Want to edit the name. And create blueprint. Yes. So, let's test our car. Another thing I like to do is run my test track on another A800 car. One I have that I know runs well. So I have sort of something to compare to. Difficulty settings. I like to set them to new racer. Well, why the fuck do I want to do that? I mean, don't you want to challenge your YouTube? Yeah, I do. But I don't want to challenge it against the AI, because the AI is about as predictable as, let's say, oh yeah, that cheese doodle you got in the White House. The AI is completely retarded, and you cannot base your car setup on the AI. That is simply not possible. But what you can base it on is time. So, I want to race this, but I don't want the AI getting in the way. Hence, new racer. So, let's see. Well, the first thing I want to do is get the hell away from the AI. Oh, the AI are in Ford Focuses. Oh, in case you didn't know this, the Ford Focus in the hands of the AI is, well, let's call it beyond fast. The car feels really good, actually. But also make a note of something like gear changes. Does it go too far up in the revs? Do you want to change to 6th gear at a lower RPM or something like, or lower speed? Then make a note of that. And try to change that, and try again, and try again, and try again, and try again. All, basically all tuning means is, I have way too much time, and I have no life. So I would like to tinker around with imaginary numbers on my computer, and then drive an imaginary car around an imaginary track. It's really good, this car, actually. Damn. Just make that corner. But now, once you've done this, and, well, that's a pretty good car, and drives okay, and everything. Then you, well, what if I tried one of the other engines? What if I did an engine swap on it? What if I put on regular stock tires, etc., etc., and that's what you screw around with until you find that moment where everything just comes together and it's just, oh my god, that car is good right now. Then you want to you can pat yourself on the back and save that tune, and if you want to share it. I will advise you, if you find the Holy Grail, I mean really find the Holy Grail, don't share it with the world. Especially if you plan to do online ranked racing, because you're gonna need it for that. Now, also, I should tell you that finding the Holy Grail and sharing that tune will not, in any way, shape, or form, um, suddenly mean you get about 1,000 downloads an hour. Because people are idiots, basically. Um, what people look for is power and speed, and then screw everything else, apparently. Which is actually why, back in the day, I set up my channel. Partly because I wanted to help you guys, but also because, well, I wanted to advertise my tunes and get some downloads, and it worked. At least it well, kind of worked. I mean, I'm legendary in the auction house, which means, yeah. And no, I have no idea why the amount of tunes people download from you has any effect on your status in the auction house. It just is. I would imagine it is. I mean, if I were setting up a game and there were such a thing as legendary in the auction house, how do people do that? Well, I would suggest something like, well, do they buy and sell a lot at the auction house? Then at some point you can become legendary. But no, of course not. It's too easy, too obvious. In case you don't know, to become legendary in the auction house, and thus being able to sell pretty much any car you want at 20 million, the combined download, uses, and likes of your blueprints, your tunes, your pictures, and your paint jobs needs to be in excess of 50,000. I know, it's stupid. In my case, I selected tuning because I sucked at doing paint jobs, which is why I always use the same old stupid paint job with the black and red flames on the gray background. Also, it's sort of become a trademark thing. But anyway, back to tuning. I'm sort of just filling in the gap here. Once you've gotten your baseline results here on your tune, you can start screw around with the settings. But there's not going to be a lot to be gained. The only real difference is if you run a manual gearbox and some such. Yeah. But if you're running like me, then there's not much to be gained. But you can start screwing around with engine swaps, etc., and see where that gets you. I actually encourage it because it'll give you an idea on the different pros and cons on different engines in the game, because a lot of the cars, when you do an engine swap, you can swap to an engine that other cars have access to as well. For instance, this one had a 5 point something V10 something something. Uh, that's also available in the Lambos and in the Audis and a lot of other cars. So it'll give you an idea of the characteristics of the different engines. But yeah, this is pretty much it actually. Not sure what else to tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna of course. Ooh, there we are. Now, what I do is I make a note of my best lap time and my total race time, of course. But I also make a note of the difference between me and the AI. In this case, 18 seconds on the lap time and 49 seconds on the total race time. Because that changes. And not because you are faster, because the AI is for some reason slower when you drive specific cars. And no, I do not have a list, but they are. It's really weird for some reason. When I've been doing testing to make tunes for you guys, I've seen that I can be like a second faster in some car, and the AI is going to be 3 seconds behind me. Yeah, let me start over. I can set a time in a car. The AI is going to be 3 seconds behind me. Then I can take a different car, set a new time that's slower than the first one. So you'd imagine the AI would be getting closer. But then I would have a 12-second gap down to the AI. Now, why this is? Forza physics. I mean, who the fuck knows? This game has some serious issues here and there. And the more you do tuning and record stuff like I do with the times, etc., the more you figure out, well, what the fuck is this based on? Pure random generator somewhere? Or is it actually based on math and numbers? It is not based on math. It is not based on any form of known numbers at all. It is not, there's not like a fine red line through it all where you can say, well, if you do this, then this will happen. No. It is pure random. I can show you something just for the hell of it that'll really boggle your mind. Gotta get into a Lego car. Lego. This one. Now, this is untuned. Completely untuned, I think. 831, is that untuned? Yeah, I think it is. But just to be safe, yeah, this is very untuned. Now notice the 0 to 161 kilometers an hour time. 65.119 seconds. That's a minute 5 seconds. That's quite impressive, wouldn't you say? So this car is going to be slow. Slow as, oh my god, slow. Right? Now let's go to, let's just remove all this crap. There we go. Now, from here up to the festival, I know it's uphill. So let's go there. So we're going to be giving it the absolute worst conditions ever to achieve this. See? We're up the hill. And let's just make sure it hadn't miraculously changed. 65.119. Okay? So, ready? 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9. So that's not really a minute, right? And that's where this game really gets weird. Another thing, I think I've showed this before. Let's get into this one. Now, enough with the Forza Horizon, go away. Now, notice the 97 to 0 time, the braking distance, and the 161 to 0. Here you have 39.3 and 105.9. Right, cool. Now, I exit the tune menu and go back in. 40.2, 107.2. Exit, go back in. 40.6, 106.6. See what I mean? It's just spewing out random numbers that have absolutely no bearing at all. You cannot tune for the braking distance numbers or after those. You cannot try to make your car brake faster and hope that you can use those numbers to fine-tune the braking. You cannot. They're just random numbers. According to support, they're not. No. It's a complicated calculation based on the weather. Right? No, it's not. It's just random numbers. It's really stupid. I cannot remember what car it was, but I actually got that to show me two numbers that were 40% apart. Now 40%, just think about that. Either your car has a braking distance of, let's say, 40 meters, and for you in the Stone Age over there, that's about 40 yards. Or it's going to be 60 yards. That's quite a difference, I'd say. And that's some of the things you're going to notice when you start tuning, that it's really beyond stupid with these numbers. But anyway, the Forza tune, as you saw from, of course you want to save your tune if it's good, and you can share it. I have not tried this yet. I have no idea how that works. You can run this just on your phone. Like you saw, it's available on the App Store, and if you are stupid and have an iPhone, really, having an iPhone is not stupid. Okay, explain to me. And allow me to rant a little bit. Explain to me how paying double, at least, for something that does or has half the power. Why do you want to do that? Did you say? This is like, I mean, the difference between Google or an Android phone and an iCrap phone is, well, if you have an iPhone, you're basically saying, oh, well, I don't want to buy a Ferrari when I can pay double and get a Ford Focus from 87, well, 92, let's say that. So I don't want a brand spanking new Ferrari because I can get a 92 Ford Focus for double the money. Why would you want to do that? Well, it's got a nice design. Are you an idiot? Are you a moron? I mean, I am sad to report that my daughter, fruit of my loins, is an iPhone fan. Now, I've beaten her over the head with the baseball bat several times. It didn't work. She continues to buy that crap. And I really cannot work out why. Is the iPhone better? Nope. Does it cost more? Yeah, a lot. Well, oh yeah, it's got a nice design. No, not really. It's got a design. And other phones, like Android phone, also has a design. And besides that, it is just... what it boils down to is people with iPhones, they have a really completely brain dead need for, look at me, I have an iPhone. Who gives a shit? You're an idiot. I hate iPhones. Anyway, back to this. But you can get it on both Google and the other one. And you can just run it on your phone. The reason I'm running this Andy emulator sorry, is purely because I have a 2-screen setup on my PC that allows me to have it running side by side with the game. Makes it a lot easier than, you know, having to actually pick up my phone. Yeah, that's the only reason why. So this very long video, actually, sorry about that, but this very long video should give you an idea on how to tune cars and how to get started. Now, once you get started, you can start experimenting by different differential settings, different suspension settings, etc. But this will give you a base idea on how to tune a car in Forza Horizon random generator thingy. That's it, really. Yeah. Oh, I do have one last thing. I need your help. Will you please, for the love of God... Oh. Damn, sorry. Go like my photos. Because it's... yeah, I'm like level nothing in photos. What is it? Photos. Somewhere. There it is. I'm level 3. Level 3. So please go like my photos. Thank you. And I don't really know how many photos I have, but I'll go make some. I do believe I have some. Yeah, 65 of them. Now go like them. Damn it. See, they're good photos. I spent many hours doing photographs. Or not. So please go like them. Damn it. Now. And then worry about tuning later. Wow, the share codes on photos now? Really? So... wait, what? So I can, like, do this? Huh. Wow. I did not know that. Well, go like them. Now, all of them. See, here's another one. Now go like them. There you go. Anyway. Oh, sorry. I think I got a cat hair stuck in my throat or something. That's it for now. Please go like my photos. And thanks for watching. And don't forget to like the video. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.